People think they already know the kind of person you will end up with. They think they have you figured out. They have placed you in a little box in their mind, and they are sure they can predict your next relationship. But heaven has been working on something that is about to surprise all of them. Your next relationship will not just surprise your friends, your family, or your ex. It is going to shock you too, because the person God is preparing to walk into your life does not fit the story others wrote about you. They fit the story God wrote about you before you were even born. And as you listen to this message, something in your spirit is going to start recognizing what your eyes have not fully seen yet. The Bible says in 1 Corinthians 1 verse 27 that God chooses the things that seem foolish or unlikely in the eyes of people to confound the wise. That means He loves to write stories that make people say, "Only God could have done this." In Psalm 37 verse 23, it says the steps of a good person are ordered by the Lord. Your steps, your relationships, your timing, even your heartbreaks are not random. Before this video ends, you are going to understand why your next relationship will shock everyone. 3 clues about the kind of person it will be and what God needs you to do so that you do not miss what He is sending. Before we go any deeper, I want to welcome you to God's Prophecy Message channel. If you are here, it is not an accident. You have been on God's mind. If this word is already stirring something in you, type this in the comments as a prophetic agreement. I'm ready. Write it boldly. Declare it as if heaven is watching you step forward. And if you have not yet subscribed, take a moment and subscribe to God's Prophecy Message channel and turn on the notification bell so you do not miss the words heaven is releasing over your life in this season. Now, let us flow together. I want you to picture something. Imagine that while you have been crying over what ended, feeling delayed, or wondering if you misheard God, the Lord has quietly been rearranging pieces behind the scenes. You think nothing is happening, but spiritually, He has been untangling wrong connections, closing roads that would have led you out of His will, and preparing someone who will show up in a way that makes you say, "God, I did not see this coming, but this feels exactly like you." One of the reasons your next relationship will shock everyone is because they only watched your story from the outside. They saw the person you used to chase. They saw what used to attract you. They saw the version of you that did not fully know your worth, your assignment, or your identity. What they never saw was the private work God has been doing in your heart. They never saw the conversations you had with God late at night. They never saw the moments when you told God, "If it is not from you, I do not want it, even if it looks good." Isaiah 55 verses 8 and 9 tells us that God's thoughts are higher than our thoughts, and His ways are higher than our ways. Many people plan their love life based on patterns, preferences, and pressure, but God plans based on purpose. Proverbs 19 verse 21 says, "Many are the plans in a person's heart, but it is the Lord's purpose that prevails." Your ex might have matched your preference. Your crush might match your type, but your next relationship will match your purpose. That is why it is going to shock people. For some of you, your next relationship will shock everyone because the person God is sending does not look like your usual choice. They might not match the physical picture other people had in their mind for you. They may come from a different background, culture, or financial level. They may have a different personality style than people expected. Maybe people thought you would end up with someone loud and flashy, but this person is peaceful, stable, and gentle. Or maybe people thought you would stay small, safe, and hidden. But God is sending you someone who believes in big faith, big dreams, and big obedience. There is another reason people will be shocked. Your next relationship is not being built on drama, chase, and confusion. It is being built on clarity, peace, and conviction. Many people are used to seeing you entangled, anxious, over-explaining yourself, begging to be understood, or trying to prove your value. But this time, the one God sends will see your value without you performing. They will not be intimidated by your calling. They will not be confused about your intentions. They will not treat you like a backup plan. And when people see that, they will say, "Who is this person? And how did this happen so suddenly? Think about how God chose David. In 1 Samuel 16 verse 7, everyone looked at the outward appearance of his brothers and assumed they were the right ones. But God told Samuel, people look at the outward appearance, but the Lord looks at the heart. That is exactly what God is doing with your next relationship. He is not choosing someone just because they look good together with you in pictures. He is choosing someone whose heart is aligned with Him and aligned with your assignment. You might not have considered them when you were operating from insecurity, but now that God has healed certain parts of you, your spirit will recognize them in a different way. I want you to be honest with yourself for a moment. How many times did you cry over someone you thought was the one and say to God, "Why would you let this be taken from me?" At the time, it felt cruel, confusing, and unfair. But what if God was saving you from a relationship that would have looked right to people but crushed you in private? What if He allowed certain doors to slam shut because the person attached to those doors would have pulled you away from Him instead of closer? Romans 8 verse 28 says that God works all things together for good to those who love Him and are called according to His purpose. That includes the breakups, the delays, and the confusion. None of it was wasted. It was all training for the relationship that is actually sent by Him. In a moment, I am going to reveal 3 specific clues about who this next person is and why your spirit will feel something different with them compared to everyone else. But before that, I need you to understand why the preparation has felt so intense. Because the level of shock people will have about your next relationship is connected to the level of transformation God has been producing in you. Some of you have been in what feels like a strange season. People around you did not understand why you suddenly got serious about purity. They did not understand why you stopped entertaining certain conversations, why you walked away from certain situationships, or why you went quiet on social media. They labeled it as you changing, becoming distant, or doing too much. But heaven saw it as preparation. You were not just losing people, you were shedding layers that could not go with you into your next covenant. God has been teaching you to love yourself in a healthy, holy way so that you no longer accept crumbs. He has been exposing your patterns, the way you used to rush into connection, attach too fast, or ignore red flags. He has been healing old wounds that caused you to confuse intensity with intimacy and chaos with passion. And as that healing has been happening, your spiritual taste has been changing. The kind of love story you crave now is different. You are not asking God for just butterflies. You are asking for stability. You are not just asking for attraction. You are asking for alignment. That shift is prophetic. Now, let us talk about who this person might be. I am not here to give you a name. That belongs to God. But I am here to help you discern the characteristics, the energy, and the spirit